YouTube, how we doing? Player Prop Savant here with my boy Monotone. We're back for our Friday live stream. How we doing?
Feeling great. Ready to get into this one. We got a dope guest coming up, so I'm excited to get through these.
Yeah, dude. First guest for us. But yeah, always got to start with the recap from last week. So we're just as transparent for you guys, so you know how we did. Last week's recap. Do you have all your plays in front of you? I can pop it up quick.
I don't have them in front of me, but I know we whiffed on a couple. You had to carry us this week, unfortunately. I left it all to you, and you did a good job too.
Yeah, I think we had Stafford. That one was crap because I think Cup was at 36 and it missed by like 2.
Yep.
Chubb is getting close to GOAT status right now. Kirk, I don't know what happened, dude. What happened there? Did he even get targets or?
The game they didn't need it. They just won easily. They didn't need it. After the first quarter, he had 1 target on the first drive, nothing after. So
that's crazy.
On that one.
Another guy who's pushing GOAT status here, Daniel Jones. So we got 4 units on there so far. Taylor crushed. Great call. He was your DFS guy too, right?
Yeah, DFS and touchdown guy hit all those for us.
And then this dude just absolutely murked that line.
Easily.
Dude, he was at 400 total yards. 400 fucking total yards. It was so easy, dude. I was like, he's going to clear it on just passing. Ended up with like 320, right? 320 passing yards alone. So
yeah.
Popping over to here. I don't even remember how OBJ did. It wasn't anything spectacular.
He had the most air yards last week, but nothing good on paper. Tony had a great week, though.
He did, dude.
You saw that? Yeah.
I threw him in every stat hero. Every stat hero had Tony in it. You're so cheap.
Nobody played him either. It's great. I took a nice victory lap after that one on Sunday. Taylor
obviously did well. Kamara, no targets, 120 yards rushing, though. So, I mean, I can't really complain about that. And I ended up being like, in my fantasy league, I got 15 points. Yeah. But in DFS, it was only 12, since he had no catches, which sucked. And then the Vikings. The fucking Vikings score 7 points. 7 fucking points. Adam Thielen has scored in every game this year. When I play him and we need him, Taylor obviously comes through, and then they just don't score. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. We'll just have to take that one on the chin, move into next week.
But yes, let's get to it. Let's bring in our guest here. So since we have our touchdown parlays, we're gonna make it a 3-legger this week. So we're gonna bring in our guy here, Mr. PSG prop guy. How we doing, my guy?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
I mean, I can't complain. How are you, Monotone?
Doing great. Ready to get into it. Fired up.
Yeah. Might be that time. Let's get to just some yo, what's good, fam? Yeah, it was a good week. It wasn't bad. Profitable week. That's all we can ask for. Buck dancer. I like it. And then thoughts on – I have Scary Terry. I haven't been fantasy, so I don't get too crazy with him in DFS action. I don't even know what his lines are this week. That dude is completely matchup proof, though. So
yeah, it's crazy. I think he has the most catches in the league without a drop right now this year. It just keeps it going.
Really? Holy shit.
He's up there.
So many targets. He gets so many damn targets. But let's get back to it. Let's get back to one of our guys. First 2 guys, one for Monotone, one for me, are both guys that come on the show every single week. I swear to God, we see him every single time. Monotone rolling with his boy Hunter Renfrow from Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, it's just getting kind of ridiculous at this point, right? We're getting the same number every single week, like week in and week out. I've hit it 4 weeks in a row now. So this will be my 5th straight week betting this number. And it's just kind of an auto bet at this point. It actually opened up at plus money, and that's when I tweeted it out. So we got it at plus money, which is always nice. But here it's still minus 110, minus 120 on most books. Renfrow right now is one of like 5 receivers in the league who's had 5+ catches in every single game. That's kind of ridiculous when you break it down a little bit more, how many elite receivers there are in the league. And there's only a handful of them that have 5 catches every game. And Hunter freaking Renfrow is one of them. I mean, it's kind of like one of those situations where I'm not going to stop betting it until it stops happening. And I really see a trend for it. There's nothing that scares me in the opposing defense. I think he's pretty matchup proof. He's just a safety blanket in an offense that likes to throw a lot. When I wrote this up last week, I felt very good about it. because I thought they were going to run the ball in the first half, and then they were going to fail, and then they were going to have to pass all the whole second half against the Chargers, and that's exactly what happened. I think we see a similar thing here again. So I love Renfro. Love to hear what you guys would think about this one.
I love jumping on this guy, man. I've tailed you on every single one, and I've been making money, so I have no complaints here. You got anything, PSG?
It's a guy, he always puts up the numbers. Personally, I've never played a Renfro prop. I look at it every week, and I can't talk myself into it. And for some reason, I'm a big Henry Ruggs guy. For some reason, I don't know why, but I always look to him before anybody else on the Raiders, outside of Waller, obviously.
I mean, I love Ruggs. He's also one of my bets this week, too. We're not talking about on the show, but I have him as over longest reception. Ruggs is killing it, honestly. He's taken one of the biggest leaps from year 1 to year 2 out of anyone I've seen in the league. So I'm also a big fan of Ruggs also.
Yeah, and they're letting Carr throw it a little bit more. And it doesn't hurt that Jacobs is hurt, so they're just not really running it as much. Because Jacobs usually was around like 20 carries a game last year. Now, it obviously can't really do that with ankle, right? I think he's got ankle. I have him in the fantasy league, and it's just been annoying to have to deal with that. But we went to Renfro. Now we're going to go to my guy that I have every single week. Until they start respecting my guy here, I will keep riding Nick Chubb till the wheels fall off. We're at 85.5. This is on FanDuel over there. He has had 84-plus rushing yards every single game this year. They're at a 73% run block advantage this week. 73% is absolutely massive. Just to kind of relate this to you guys for like numbers, New England has a 79 run block advantage this week over Houston. So everybody and their mom is on Harris this week, right? So if we're seeing a 79% there and I'm getting 63% here, we're going up against the Chargers. I love this matchup. This year, in 3 of their games, this is cleared. Obviously, last game was against Oakland, obviously with a bummed Jacobs, and they really didn't use Kenyon Drake at all or Barber. Just a lot of throwing, and they just did not look good. They faced the Chiefs, easily hit this line, and they were giving up 6.2 yards per carry against the Cowboys. Pollard hit it, and Zeke had 80 yards himself with a 6.4 yards per carry. And then it also hit against Washington with 4.7 yards per carry. So I really like this spot for Nick Chubb to come through here. It's the only reason it's a 1.5 versus like a 2 that I've been riding with Nick Chubb on is just because games could really flip really quick with Herbert playing the way he is. But this is what we say when we play the Chiefs. You got to keep the ball out of their hands. It's the only way to stop that offense. And Nick Chubb is like we say every single week, he's a top 3 pure runner in the NFL, and I don't see him having any issues carving through this defense here of the Chargers. Do you guys have anything on Mr. Nick Chubb?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think first of all, I mean, I've been riding with you every week. So like I said, I'm with you again right here too. But a lot of people get a little bit scared of Kareem Hunt, but the fact of the matter is he's at 10, 13, and 14 rushing attempts in the last couple games. They've all been pretty good, but those are kind of ceiling performances for Hunt. If you go back and look through what this Browns team has done the last couple of years, he normally does hit that mark fairly often, but it's about half the games where he hits it, about half the games where he doesn't. And Hunt is not guaranteed volume at all in this offense. Chubb will always get the first crack at it, and if he's hot, they'll stick with him. So I trust Chubb enough to get here. And yeah, like you said, you keep dropping these run blocking stats on me that I never even think to look of, and that's great. I didn't thinking about it in comparison to that terrible Houston defense did the job. I'm sold.
Yeah, 79% is terrible, dude. Everybody's on Damian Harris this week. PSG, you ever bet on Nick Chubb or no?
I hit on him a couple times last year. Haven't played him this year, but I do like it this week. I'll tell you on that one.
Yeah, dude, they just don't give him respect. He should be around 90 yards every single week. I really don't understand why these guys don't respect Nick Chubb enough to give him a little bit higher line here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing 83 against the Chiefs, 95 against Houston, 84 against Chicago, 100 against Minnesota. I mean, he's been right around there the whole dang time.
Yeah, and
now with the offensive line advantage, like you said.
In Houston, I think he only ran the ball 10 times. I think he only ran like 10 or 11 times against them, and he just crushed. 11. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
That yards per carry is It's crazy.
Jesus.
But we're going to get to what you guys came here for, seeing a little PSG play here. Let's get to it. Josh Allen.
Yeah, so I'm going to be rolling with Josh Allen over 33.5 rushing yards. You know, it's a big game. And you look at his last 2 games against the Chiefs, 88 last year in the playoffs. And then even in regular season, he went for 42. This year, he's 3 for 4 on the line, going 44 week 1, 35 week 2, 41 last week. So, I mean, I don't know. Big game players, you know, they step up. Chiefs, obviously, 30th in the league in rushing yards per game. So that definitely helps. And I don't know, see him stepping up big time.
Yeah. I mean, just to add on to that too, Allen truly is the definition of the guy that puts his body on the line, right? He's hit this in 3 of his last 4 games against total losers, you know, where he has to stop trying at halftime. You know, we got the Texans blowout. We got the Washington football team blowout. We got the Dolphins blowout. He didn't even have to run in these games, and he still got there really easily. Now he's probably in the most important game of his season right here, going against a very scary Chiefs team. You know, I think he's going to leave it all out there. So I definitely love this one. It's a great number.
Yeah, and Bills lost last year to him right in the playoffs. They lost to the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So you obviously have the little revenge factor there. And Josh Allen is going to be throwing the ball all around. I think the Chiefs are going to do the same thing where they blitz off the sides, get that little action around the side. And it's the same thing with Daniel Jones. Josh Allen obviously looks better than Daniel Jones running, but it's just such an awkward run that you don't think he's fast, but he is just cooking by corners. So I love Josh Allen. He's my fantasy quarterback in every league. I kept him this year. He's just been so nice. He just finds a way to get the job done.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to talk about it, but I would honestly take the over on Patrick Mahomes too. Rushing yards 16.5.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that was my biggest play a couple weeks ago.
Weeks. I mean, he's going to
too
run.
Good. We will pop on and see if we got any questions here. We got Alpha in the house, little MVP. Damn, haven't seen Alpha in here in one of our streams, so happy to have you in here, Alpha. Hope all is going well. Sorry about your Yankees. All right, we got Renfro line went down, grabbed it at 115. Nice. Who in the right mind is taking his under? I don't know. Who would be taking on the under? I mean, the dude just finds a way to get open every time from 2 yard outs.
I was going to say, he's running like 2 yard routes. The corners don't even have time to get to him. You know, what's the point of taking the under right there?
We got Mr. T. Higgins talking about any thoughts on T. Higgins this week?
He's got a lot of competition is the problem. There's Chase and Boyd there. I like them all this week, so I just went with Burrow instead. You know, I liked all the receivers, so why not just go to the quarterback? It's too hard to pick one of the 3 for me, so that's where I went.
Yeah, I'm curious how it'll work with Chase and him, because I don't think they've ever played a game together, right? They've not played.
Just game 1, I think.
Just game 1. Chubb is at 83.5 on DK. Lock it in. Hell yeah. Jason, love it.
Mm-hmm.
This one's an interesting one. What do you guys think? Trey Lance, anything there?
If you're looking for a long shot touchdown play, throw him in there.
Yeah, what did he score twice this year already on rushing touchdowns?
Yeah, just coming in as a sub.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree with that. And actually, I'm looking at interception too. It's not out yet anywhere, but Trey Lance, if you guys haven't watched him play either the preseason or now, something you won't know is he throws the ball at his players so hard. I mean, these guys are running like 5 yard routes, and he is like throwing full on arm strength right at him, and it causes them to bobble or mess up kind of and that leaves a lot of tips up in the air for cornerback. So especially if we get this at plus money, I'm definitely looking at playing the interception prop, which is not one I touch too often. But
yeah, no, I like it. I like that. I never really watched him too much in college, so that could be a really good spot for sure. We're popping on over back to Monotone, back to your turn. Rolling with Hollywood.
Yeah, so this is a guy, too, that a couple weeks ago, actually in week 1, I think I talked down on. You know, I like Sammy Watkins a lot. I didn't think Hollywood was that good. But since then, he's done nothing but prove me wrong. And I got to admit when I'm wrong, he's crushed this number in every single game. He's 4 for 4 on the season with this longest reception prop. And I was pretty shocked to see it this low. I was kind of expecting somewhere around Justin Jefferson's, which is normally sitting around 26.5. But just to give you some numbers real quick, the Colts defense has allowed this to every team so far. So Devontae Parker, 44 yards. Jeffrey Swaim, 25 yards. Jones, 25 yards. Cup 44 yards. Lockett, 69 yards. Metcalf, 30 yards. They're letting all these deep downfield receivers get open, and their secondary is super injured right now. So Hollywood's hit this in every game. Lamar Jackson has hit his longest over in every game. Lamar just threw for 300 yards last week, probably his best career passing game, and nobody talked about it against a good Broncos defense. Now we get a pretty good layup spot against the Colts, who are terrible. I'll take it. I love this spot. It's 1.5 unit play for me. I expected a much higher number, so we're jumping on Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I the reason why I like this a lot is because we have Lamar Jackson with that little bit of hip injury. He didn't run as much last week as he usually does, but he's still athletic enough to get those improvisation plays, right, where he gets to the outside, doesn't want to run it, and who is it always deep? It's always Hollywood Brown. It's almost like Deshaun Jackson last night. They just throw it up, and you just let that guy run underneath it. He's fast enough, faster than every single DB. But yeah, I like this. 22 just seems crazy low.
Yeah. Ravens receivers, honestly, they terrify me because of Lamar. But with the injury, yeah, I love it. I love those longest reception props. They're fun.
Yeah, dude, I never do those. The only ones I'll do is maybe completions, maybe quarterback completions. But receptions ones, it's so hard for me to do reception ones because I'm always nervous that like Deshaun Jackson last night.
I had that
you see that? I mean, just to score a touchdown, if you just score a touchdown, he just pulled up. He's like, oh, shit. And then he throws it to somebody else. So it's like that just because I know a lot of people had Deshaun Jackson anytime touchdown scorer in those same game parlays. So, yeah, that hurts. Let's get to my next one. I'm going back to another guy that I roll with quite a bit. And, again, this is more of a value play here. I do not understand why they're giving me 51.5 here. That's why I'm going to roll it for 2 units. So we have 51.5. This is on DK here. I have it as a 2-unit play. So we have them facing the Bills in the big game that we talked about earlier. So we have 14 for 43 versus the Browns, 13 for 46 versus the Ravens, 17 for 100 versus the Chargers, and 14 for 102 versus the Eagles. So he's getting at least 13 rushing attempts in every single one of these games. But every single one of these games, the yard per carry has gone up 3.1 to 3.5 to 5.9 to 7.3. So he's getting chunk yardage, and the longest run is only 17 yards. So it's not like you're seeing him run a 40-yarder and that just skews all the data, right? This is chunk play after chunk play, and I think that the competition with Williams is getting him to run harder, and also the fumbling issue, right? Everybody was talking shit about CEH after that first week when he fumbles against the Ravens. Now he comes out, and he's been showing out, right? 2 back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. And last year he faced the Bills. You saw what the Chiefs did, right? They just fed CEH 26 times. 26 carries for 161, over 6 yards a pop in those games. And it's usually what everybody does to the Chiefs, right? Try to keep them off the field. But this is probably the one team that can keep up with them stride for stride. Maybe them and the Chargers. They're the only team that can really go back and forth with the Chiefs and actually have a chance of winning. So I love this spot. I think this is probably about 5 to 8 yards too low. And I don't even think it takes much more than probably 7 to 8 carries for him to hit this line. Just the way he's been running and the way he's been getting yards after contact. He's running through guys. He's not doing the soft outside, trying to get around them. He is running through guys, getting those extra 2 to 3 yards. And this is definitely a spot that I am looking to exploit and take bookie money from because this is just too low. Way too low for me, running only 50 yards. 50. You guys have any thoughts on this one?
I mean, honestly, after what he did to him last year, I'm kind of surprised they left it this low. You know, everyone kind of thinks these games are going to be shootouts because they're two good offenses, but they also know each other's weaknesses, and that's really slowing the game down, running the ball, you know, taking away that shootout that we all kind of wish it would be. But, yeah, I love that you're taking advantage of it. I'm definitely with you on this one.
He's crushed it lately.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good. I just don't get it. I don't know if they're just leaving this and this is like a trap spot or something, but I'm going to take the bait. I'm going to grab it. Oh, dang. We're looking at 50.5 over on DK. Mm-hmm. I will be over on DK shortly then. It's just, I just don't get it. Like, if I'm going to do a same game parlay this weekend, I think it's going to be the overs on the passing side for the Bills and the over on CEH, ride that out, find that game script. Those are the ways you win those bigger ones. You got to figure out the way that the game's going to go. You have to guess. Obviously, that's why you're getting huge payout money. But, man, this just seems like at least 5 to 6 yards too low and maybe even more. That's why I'm rolling for 2. The only reason it's not a max is just because it's CEH. You know, it's just you never know with Andy Reid. In one of these games, maybe he just wants to show off Mahomes for 500 yards, you know. Well, he's so frustrating to me. All righty, we are on to PSG's second one, rolling with a plus money play.
Yes, with one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. To me, this is the definition of a gritty player right here. He slings it. I mean, he just threw for 3 against Atlanta, 2 against Buffalo, 2 against Giants. I mean, Buffalo's a good defense. Obviously, they were playing catch up the whole time. But you look at the Saints, 26th ranked in passing yards per game. So, I mean, they're going to be able to air it out. And we've already seen he's not afraid to throw the ball. You know, he throws it everywhere. You got McLaurin, McKissick, Gibson, Curtis Samuel. I could see him getting in the end zone. You know, he's going to get his groove back. So, yeah, it's a play I can't seem to stay away from.
Yeah, plus money too, dude. That's nice.
I'm seeing minus 105 right now, but even just right around that even range is just great.
Yeah, and I mean, also another thing about Heinicke too is a lot of people on that first game he came in against the Giants, right? It was a primetime game. Everyone was looking at it, and everyone thought they were just going to hand it off all game to Antonio Gibson. They were going to be too scared. And Heinicke came out and just threw all game. You know, he never stopped, and he hasn't stopped since then. I think it's we just saw Daniel Jones throw for 400 yards against the Saints defense. Mm-hmm. We know Heinicke's going to want to throw the ball down the field. He finally has Curtis Samuel back and healthy. I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I agree with you. He's a real gritty player. He just kind of leaves it all on the field, you know, and that's the kind of guy we want to bet on because he wants to cash this ticket as much as we do.
Hell yeah.
One thing I will say for this play, and the reason why I love it so much, is you go through, you don't even have to watch the games. All you have to do is go turn on ESPN. And his touchdown to Terry McLaurin last week. That dude was getting pulled down, triple covered, and it did not matter. That fucker threw the ball up in the air and let Terry go get it. Caught the touchdown. Like, there is no reason to throw that ball at all. Like, he's triple covered. And Terry McLaurin is that good. He is matchup proof, and he still finds a way. So I love that he trusts in Terry. And obviously, Terry's one of the best yards after catch receivers, too. So, all that goes to him. I know everybody's always I don't know if it was Romo talking about how when you do the little touch pass in front, that's what Curtis Samuel's known for. That counts as a pass. And he did that so often with the Panthers where he get those receiving touchdowns on the little pass in front of him, and he gets around the edge. So all those count. I think this is a great spot. And you have McKissick, too. That dude finds a way to get in the end zone. I don't know how, but he finds a way.
Yeah, that might be – probably a top 3 play for me this weekend.
Yeah, dude, plus money is great. Great value on that. Yeah, let's pop over. We got a new play. I think I just saw you post this on Twitter there, Monotone.
Yeah, so I try to stay away from like juice like this most of the time, you know, but DJ Moore, I think what happened right here is we caught the books actually asleep right here because about 15 minutes before I posted this one on Twitter, it was announced that Christian McCaffrey's doubtful for this game. And we've all seen what happened to DJ Moore when Christian McCaffrey went out the game. He saw 10+ targets in every game and caught 8+ catches for almost 100 yards in every single game. Once McCaffrey leaves and they stop relying on those dump offs, what they do is they really let DJ Moore run those short intermediate routes and let him do a lot after the catch. And that's exactly what he's done. I mean, this number is ridiculously low. I've had it circled all week. I was waiting for it to see what happened with Christian McCaffrey. And once he was ruled out, I mean, this is one of my favorite plays of the week. It's still on Barstool too at minus 165. And if you don't like that juice, you can really just parlay it with your favorite safe money line and kind of bring it down. That's what I've been doing more recently, just adding like a Patriots money line to it to get it to plus money, so make sure to check that one out. But yeah, I love Moore this week. He's clearly the number one in this offense, and every single week that they put it at 5.5, I'm going to be there waiting for it. I love this one.
God, dude, I like it. I know once I saw Schefter tweet it out, everything just changed. Like I saw the Panther on, I don't know if it was DraftKings, but it just went down, right? It just immediately went down. If you can find them sleeping, man, that's a great spot. It ain't juice if you're winning, right?
Yeah. DraftKings went down when I posted it. Like the whole thing went off. It was still up on PointsBet and, Barstool, a couple other ones. But the news was out there for 20 minutes before I tweeted it out. And once I tweeted it, the whole section was gone. So that's why I said that I think we caught someone asleep over there because they were not on their shit this week.
Better have Adam Schefter noties on, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
That's what I did. That's why I've been picking up Hubbard in another one of my fantasy leagues because he got dropped because they were saying McCaffrey's probably going to play. Yeah. And then now we get him here without having him in the lineup. I like it. My last play here, I've been going crazy these last couple of weeks on 2-unit plays. I usually don't do too many, but I'm going with another 2-unit play here. I'm going to Jared Goff completions, 23.5 on DraftKings. You need to grab this line now because this line is just stupid. I do not understand it. They're playing the Vikings this week. I get it. They don't have a great offense. This man is going to throw the ball 50 times. He will throw the ball 50 times in this game. Biggest thing that got me on this play also was reading up that Jamal Williams is now questionable. He's got like a hip injury or something. And if he's out, that they don't run Swift more than 10 carries a game, 10 to 12 max. But he's one of your best players, so all they do is dump it off to him. He's got a 6.8 average on passes, yards per catch. That is terrible. But for me, if I want completions, that's freaking awesome. I'd rather have you give me 7 or 8 completions to get yourself down the field than just one, right? That's why taking completions with Mahomes is so tough because he could easily just drop one to Hill for 80 yards. I think this should be 25.5, 25 or 26. He had 26 versus the Niners the whole game, came back for completions here. 26 versus the Packers, 24 versus the Bears. Actually, it was 36 versus the Niners because that was a game that came back. He threw 54 times in that game. My bad, I typed the wrong number on that one. And now they're going up against the Vikings here where they have a minus 29 run block advantage. So, yeah, you can run Jamal Williams if he's hurt. Let's run him into a damn brick wall for 27 carries like they've been doing. Just absolutely stupid play calling. I don't get it at all. So all that means is we're going to do that nice short passing game, screen plays. I could see Quintez Cephas getting those bubble screens that he used to get at Wisconsin. I just like this game script for them. They are a 10-point dog. And in every one of those games where they're super far behind, he hits this number. He hit it, like I said, against the Packers, Niners. The only reason he didn't hit it against the Ravens is because they were actually winning. They were actually winning for a portion of that game, and they tried to run the clock out for 2 drives. So you're telling me he couldn't complete 2 passes in that, right? He could have got easily 2 passes there if they're losing, which, let's be real, they are going to be losing in this game. They are not good enough to beat the Vikings here. So, and I think it's in Minnesota too. So, I mean, this just screams a Kirk Cousins super efficient game, like 20 for 22, 260, 3 touchdowns. And if Cook is in there, I mean, it's just going to be a murder pretty much. I mean, he's only projected 65. His line is only 65 yards rushing. But I think that's just because people don't know how much he's going to play. Because if they get up 14, why play Dalvin Cook? Alexander Madison just dropped 170 total yards in his second last game. So this line is just off. I think that obviously this should be like a 25.5. That's really where I think this line should be. And if you're playing from behind, watching Jared Goff sling it 3 yards in front of him, I'll take that he can complete 24 of them.
Yeah, I actually really like this one. I'm kind of surprised I never even found it, honestly, because yesterday night, I wrote up this game for Vegas Insider, and I picked the over in the game and the Lions to cover. And the reason for that is because both of these teams can't play defense. Like, these are both very bad defensive teams. And like you highlighted a second ago, really the only stable part of this Vikings, team is their run defense. Their front line is okay, but their secondary is getting burned week after week after week. And the Lions defense is so bad that they're behind every game. They're forced to throw. They're forced to play catch up. And like you said, that yards per attempt is so low for Goff because it's really just running backs, tight ends, screens. It's super easy stuff. So I definitely think I'm going to add this one to my card after we get off here for sure because, it just fits the game so well. This is kind of just a great spot. I love it.
Anything on Mr. Goff there, PSG?
Hit rate of 3 out of 4 this year, 24, 26, 38. They'll be playing from behind. Short passes. I love it.
Yeah, dude. I
keep it simple.
Honestly, in this game too, DeAndre Swift over 4.5 catches is plus 120 right now on DraftKings. So it definitely could be another play that I add. It just really depends. Hopefully, I loved Mo Williams. He used to be a Packer, but I really hate how they use him. It's just stupid.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question for you guys then. Do you think this number is just this low because everybody in the world just thinks this guy sucks, right? Is that the reason this is so low? No.
I think it's the same thing as Daniel Jones. It just looks so bad.
Yeah. Just nobody even
looks awful.
thinks about it.
It like Daniel Jones rushing yards at 22.5. It's just because that man can't run in a straight line. His legs look like a damn deer running like this. Obviously, I ain't gonna bet on a guy who looks that bad. But hey, I'll take the money. Give me 3-2 units. I'll take it. All right. Before we get to DFS, guys, we're gonna get to that part of the show. We're gonna pop over to some questions, and we will see what our guys here think about it. PSG, what are you thinking about Mr. Saquon this week versus Dallas?
Let's see. He finally came on last week. That was nice to see. Let me pull up his stats. Sorry.
He's just been dominating the backfield.
Oh,
I don't even know if he comes off the field anymore.
I feel like they're making a statement to get him the ball through the air. You see 7 targets against Atlanta, 6 last week against New Orleans, 6 receptions, 5 receptions. Considering those lines, if they're not juiced at all, I love them. 43 receiving yards against Falcons, 74 against Saints. Yeah.
And in a game where they're going to be playing from behind too, right? Like who thinks they're winning this one? Especially also, I don't know if any of you guys saw this one, but Slayton and Shepard were both ruled out before the game.
Oof.
So he's really kind of going to be one of the main receivers on this team. So like you said, if it's not juiced up, then this is looking real good too.
Yeah, those super short passes. Same thing with Daniel Jones. Loves to do those. Obviously took the top off the defense last week with Mr. Ross. But yeah, I think I would probably take the yards a little bit more because I feel like you see how Dallas plays getting outfield so quickly that I feel like the screen game is just going to be money, absolute money this week because they're not going to be able to run on these guys. That front 7 is actually pretty damn good. They just stifled. Remember when they played the Eagles? Like they ran the ball 3 times because they couldn't go anywhere. Like it was so bad. Let's pop to this one. I think this is talking about your play, Monotone. Talking about the Colts on back-to-back.
Yeah, it was on the Ravens. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even catch that, but yeah, the Colts secondary is already banged up enough. Just more struggles for them here. I like it.
So this is for obviously we're talking about the CEH there. Anything there, PSG, on Mr. King Henry against Jets? No, they lost to the Jets last week.
They lost to the Jets. Right? Given the way that the Titans receiving core is right now, it makes me hesitant to play Henry just knowing that you're going to get a stacked box heavier than what you would even normally see. Nothing's pulling up for me right now. Give me a second.
Yeah, no, Henry's it's just so weird. I can never take an under on Henry just for the sheer fact that they will hand him the ball 40 times.
Oh, God, yeah.
He could get 3 yards a carry and still hit his over. Like I was saying this, I don't remember which show it was, but we were talking about him when they played Seattle. That man was averaging 2.6 yards a carry through 22 carries. His 23rd one, he broke for 70 yards for a touchdown. Like they were playing pretty good defense on him for a little while, and then Henry just breaks one off. And then at the end of the game, obviously he wears on you and he ends up with 3 touchdowns. But it's just he gets so much volume. No one can get that type of volume besides probably McCaffrey.
Yeah, I he's gone 182, 113, 157 his last 3 games. Obviously, the Jets, they were out both top receivers. So, I mean, you see the stacked box already and what he still did to it. Jaguars are giving up 106.3 per game on the ground. I mean, his line's 107. Ooh. You definitely can't take the under.
Holy shit, 22.5. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think you guys both nailed that. It's just you can't go under here. I mean, even if you don't like the over, you just leave it alone. That's what I'm doing. I mean, everyone in the world knows they're going to run the ball, and they still do it, and it still seemingly works. So, it is what it is.
I think the most frustrating part about Henry is that he'll go into halftime with like 20 rushes and 40 yards. And you're like, shit, are we going to hit this? And then right out of the half, he busts a 60-yard run.
He's just that kind of guy, man. He's that kind of guy.
You just know it's coming the whole time. You just know it's coming.
It's kind of the same with Nick Chubb, too. It's like, when's this guy going to run for 30 yards today? Because we all know it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think let's pop it over to you, Monotone. I know, was it you or the PSG you were talking about Jacoby earlier?
I have him on a touchdown prop.
Yeah.
What do you think about 5.5?
Yeah, I like the touchdown prop more than the 5.5, honestly. It's tough to predict volume playing against the Texans. It just feels like they're not going to be in the game. Like, how can we trust Mac Jones to throw it 6 times to Myers in a game where they might not even have to throw the ball like more than 20 times? So yeah. I'm just staying away from it personally, but I understand the appeal. I mean, the Texans are pretty much the best matchup you can get.
His longest reception might not be a bad prop, though.
What's it at?
21.5. He's gone 22, 24, 27, 21 this year.
That is solid. I mean, who's going to stop him? It's that kind of thing. It's like the problem with this is if it's after the first quarter and it's 14-0, you just get that screwed in your stomach. It's over.
One thing that might be nice though is if they are up that much, they might just throw a bubble screen to him, and with watching how Houston can tackle a player, he's probably going for 100 yards instead of 20. The guys are so brutal tackling. When they played Panthers, I think earlier this year, DJ Moore literally just caught it and ran 10 yards every time on bubble screens. It was so bad. Last one coming from my boy Jason. Thoughts on Trevor Lawrence rushing prop? Did someone post this on Twitter?
Yeah, that's what happened. Prop bet guy posted it on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
It was at 18, and I liked it at 18.5. It was definitely on my radar, but at 22.5, it just feels a little much. But it's a good spot for sure. I really see the appeal. I mean, last week on primetime, we all saw it. They kept running those read options where they kept letting Lawrence keep the ball, and he seemed to love it. He kept pulling it out of the running back's hands and just taking it himself. So I definitely see the appeal.
Yeah, I know. He blows up those lines, doesn't he? He blows those lines up. All right, we're getting to our DFS portion. We've been doing pretty good on these value spots. Value spots have been doing pretty well. We will roll to you, Mr. Monotone. Rolling with the guy from last week who made me some money.
Yeah, so Kadarius Toney is a guy that not a lot of people have heard of in the league. He was drafted in the first round this year, and we played him last week, and he was super low owned. And, I mean, he paid off his value times 10 last week. He had 9 targets, 6 receptions, and 78 yards. For someone that's dirt cheap, that's a great DraftKings performance. He outscored super chalk guys like Tim Patrick last week easily in the first quarter. And he ran a route on 88.5% of dropbacks for Daniel Jones. He ran 37 routes last week. No Shepard, no Slade. Let's run it back. He's still not expensive enough. Tony's in a great spot. He's pretty much the number 1 wide receiver on this team. Evan Ingram is terrible. I don't know why people keep going back to him. He's dust. He doesn't really do anything out there. So Tony's the number 1 in this offense. Let's run it back. It worked great last week. I'm going for it again.
I just haven't heard that he's dust in a while. That's pretty good. All right, I'm rolling with Waddle here. I think I'm going to probably roster both of these guys this week in a FanDuel lineup. Just gives you so much options, especially when I can roll my boy Daniel Jones at quarterback. I'm going to save a lot of money. Can play the really high-end receivers, high-end running backs in there as well. But yeah, Jalen Waddle obviously has a tough running matchup in Tampa Bay. But I see him getting at least probably 6-7 catches. I don't even need that much in a half-point PPR at this price, right? I just need him to probably get me like 12. And he is paying off a very, very nice salary in 5,400. Both of these guys showed off last week. I think Waddle had like 5 or 6 catches. Obviously, his yards per catch ain't great. But Tampa Bay, you saw it last time. Last time against Mac Jones. I took Mac Jones over in completions and in yards, and it was easy because you can't run on these guys. You cannot run on them at all, and you're pretty much just running into a brick wall. It just depends how many times you want to do it, right? I mean, there's absolutely no option for you to run this ball, especially with the Dolphins front. They're not going to be able to move, Vita Vea? Hell no. That guy's going to eat up 2 of them, and then you're going to have Sue absolutely eat this dude. You're going to eat freaking Gaskin. And they're better off just dumping off to these guys and getting them to the outside because their corners are not great.
Yeah, I mean, so one of my biggest plays this week is also Jacoby Brissett completions, just kind of like you were with Mac Jones. The line has moved 3 points since I posted it, which is 3 whole completions, which is a little much for me to bring it up again here. But yeah, I mean, Waddle is clearly kind of the number one target here, and they're going to be playing behind the whole game. It's really, like you said, this team forces you to throw against them. Like 3 of the 4 quarterbacks that played him so far had their season high in passing attempts. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. You know, Waddle's just going to keep getting peppered. They might not be great throws from Jacoby Brissett, but he can dink and dunk his way down the field, and that's what he's going to keep doing. So I could really see an 8-catch, 60 yards and a touchdown, or maybe a 10-catch, 70 yards. You know, it's not going to be super pretty, but it'll pay off value for sure.
Yeah, that's all we need. All we need is some value. Let's we'll check in questions before we get to our top DFS here. DJ Moore has looked like Devontae Adams the past 4 weeks. Hey, don't say that. Packers right here. He ain't no Devontae Adams, man. Devontae Adams might be the crazy dude's a magician, man. His routes are magic. He doesn't get touched by anybody. You can't jam him because he's already past you. I can't. I'm biased. Obviously, I'm a Packer fan, so. But yeah, DJ Moore's been nice. It just sucks having Robbie Anderson on your fantasy team.
Anderson's disappeared this year.
He dropped a 0 for me the other week. Like, come on, man.
It's frustrating. Do you like this spot for any Buccaneers players?
It's so hard to tell with a team with that many weapons. I mean, you know, it's just shooting fish in a barrel, essentially. Evans, Brown, Godwin.
A lot of mouths.
Yeah.
Only person, maybe Fournette. Maybe Fournette against that front 7 of Miami.
Yeah.
Only reason I'm even thinking about that is because you obviously think they're going to be leading. Fournette looked fantastic last week. Just absolutely carving up New England. That'd be the only guy I probably look to. I wouldn't even take any Brady props just because I'd assume they'd be leading. But yeah, he'd probably be the only guy I look at, even with any. I probably won't even bet on him, but I think he'd probably be the only guy I look at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough. Like, it feels like they're going to blow them out. You know, a lot of people have that predicted, and then they have 3 amazing weapons. It's so hard to pick which one's going to go off. So, yeah, I'm kind of good with just passing on this one.
That's the thing about books, right? They put out lines, but you don't have to bet every single one. That's why we have the advantage there.
That plus money on Tom Brady over 2.5 passing touchdowns is going to be calling my name again.
Dude, well, that's the thing is they don't run the ball inside the 5. They just want to boost Tom Brady's stats. It's fucking horseshit when I'm playing him in fantasy every time. We're moving on to our last segment before the Mr. D-Gen parlay coming up. So we're going to have our top DFS guys. DJ Moore is leading us off with you, Mr. Monotone.
Yeah, so I talked about DJ Moore earlier. He's definitely not expensive enough. This price was set on Monday like they do every single week, and that was with the kind of reports that it's possible that Christian McCaffrey could actually come back because we were getting all those reports early in the week probably strategically from the Panthers. But either way, it was kind of becoming more and more clear that CMC might play. And now we see doubtful, most likely not going to play. I'll just play DJ Moore everywhere I can. It's like Jonathan Taylor last week. We kind of hit him all over the board and it worked out. It's just such a great situation for a guy that gets so much usage on his team. I'm not sure there are 5 players in football that get more opportunities than DJ Moore. And that's all you can really ask for in these kind of things. Just get him the most opportunity possible.
I did DJ Moore. I think. Well, the thing is DJ Moore is just going to get the targets. I mean, he's just peppered every single game. I love your 5.5 receptions line. I think that is absolutely bogus that they even give you that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the numbers I'm giving you guys here on prices are FanDuel, half-point PPR. I mean, he's been just absolutely destroying it. But yeah, do you have anything there, PSG, on Mr. DJ Moore?
I mean, I don't do DFS or any of that, so not speaking from that side of it, but from the receptions prop, I think if he hits 5.5 this week, you won't see 5.5 again.
We should.
You'll be seeing a plus 6.5 next week.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm gonna roll with my guy here. Cheap for quarterback. I'm just finding value in this spot. I mean, you can go up to your obviously Mahomes and Allen are not on the main slate, which is very hard. That's tough, man. Like not having the 2 top guys, top tight end, top 3 receiver. You're really digging this week. It's a very flat line at the top, right? So I like Daniel Jones coming off his best game of the season, 400 plus yards. The thing that stood out to me was his ability to throw the deep ball. It was really nice to see him hit Ross over the top last week. And once that happened, the entire offense opened up because they were playing him to dink and dunk, which is what you predict him to do. But now once we see that Ross can actually get past the safeties, you can't just sit there and play Tony for a 5-yard out. You can't play Barkley for his dump downs. You have to still have those safety help over the top. So I'm going to roll with Daniel Jones. I think 7,400 is probably $500 too cheap. And lets me get to the really high-end running backs. Wish it was CMC, but probably going to have to be Henry this week. Check out the comments here before we get to the best part of the show, right? The best part of the show. We got any Bears fans in here? Talk about Mr. Mooney.
I don't have much to say. I mean, Fields is a little unreliable. We saw him get the layup last week. He did what he needed to do against a really bad team, which is good to see. But it's just kind of hard for me to play it that high right now. He also does have the toughest matchup out of anyone in that game against Casey Hayward Jr. I read that one in a great column by DFS Joey this week over at Karma. So I saw that. I saw it's actually a really tough matchup he has. So I'm just going to stay away. You know, I don't hate the over. I understand Fields clearly likes him. You know, it's clearly kind of his guy. Allen Robinson, then everyone else's guy, but it seems like Mooney and him have a connection. But I'm going to stay away and see how it goes for a couple of weeks first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until you see more Fields and see some consistency, I think, especially with Montgomery coming out now, I feel like the Bears are just about untouchable from skill positions.
Agree, 100%. And I think this line is where it's at. Seeing, I don't know who posted it, but under 30.5 pass attempts for Mr. Fields. I saw someone post it. And that's a great spot. I mean, I don't think Fields has thrown more than 25 times. If you're going to take anything, you should just take the yards, right? Mm-hmm. I don't need volume to hit yards. He had a 40-something yard catch last week. I think his line's at 45.5, which is very low, seeing as he hit that one play last week. But if I'm playing it with the tough matchup, Hayward used to be a Packer, so I know him pretty well. He's good. You really just have to hope he beats him deep once if you really want to bet on it. I almost would probably take the under in receptions over in yards if I'm going to look at this line.
That's a good call right there.
Yeah, agreed.
How do you see the Cardinals running backs playing this week? Edmonds is a game-time decision. Do we prepare to hit Connor hard?
I mean, it's tempting, honestly. If Edmonds does sit, then Connor is in a really good situation, especially in the game script where they're supposed to be winning. Most people think they win this game and just try to run the ball and slow it down. Edmonds was really good last week, too. So If Edmonds plays, then I'm not so interested in either one of them because they kind of steal from each other. But if Edmonds is out, then Connors is potentially in a really good spot.
I have him in fantasy. He scored 2 touchdowns for me last week, so I am a James Conner fan for at least another week, guys. So, and we have our last question here. We'll maybe pop back to if there's any more after we drop our parlay. But does anyone feel the same way? I think Monotone, did you tweet about this?
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. So I went on a walk yesterday, before I had to leave my house. I tweeted out, CeeDee Lamb looks great this week. And when I got home 20 minutes later, the line moved 8 points. I didn't call the play. I just tweeted his name out and he was gone. It was ridiculous. So, I mean, I kind of took some of the value away from me, but in DFS, I like Lamb. Yeah, I like Lamb a lot, but they just kind of screwed me there. So I don't have anything on him officially.
Nothing official for me. Yeah.
Do you mind if I? Oh, sorry.
I said it looks like it could be a good bounce back game. I mean, you got 2 receptions for 13 yards against Carolina.
Yeah, and he crushed it every other game too.
Yeah, 104-81. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we go into our parlay, do you mind if I drop another touchdown play right here, PPS, real quick?
Yeah, drop it. Let me let's hear it. I'll put it up on.
So it's plus 420 on FanDuel, and it's Taysom Hill anytime touchdown scorer. I saw this last night, and I hyped it up on Twitter a little bit earlier. Doesn't this feel like this should be like plus 200? Like these odds are insane.
Yep.
Washington historically gets demolished by these rushing quarterbacks, and Taysom Hill had 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. So this isn't like an official play for me necessarily, but like at plus 425, I got to play this one. I mean, I watch this Washington team every week, and our linebackers are terrible. We can't stop anybody. Hill is going to get those red zone opportunities at plus 425. I hit this one, and I hit first touchdown at 19-1 just to see. So why not?
That's crazy value, man. I mean,
as
a Kamara owner, I know how pissed I was that he vultured those 2 touchdowns in the end zone there, but he ran over like 6 dudes.
It's crazy.
But 425 just seems ridiculous. I might have to look on other books to just see if that book is way off. Because usually once they score 2 touchdowns in a game, books adjust, Yeah. But that just seems.
You found that on FanDuel?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I think DK had like around plus 300 today.
Really?
Because I was, funny story, I was actually about to throw him in here as one of my official plays. I love it. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 425 is nuts.
Yeah, it's plus 250 on PointsBet, plus 225 on MGM, and plus 420 on FanDuel.
Holy shit.
Well, they're just asking us to go hammer, huh?
Go get it.
All right, we are to the biggest part of the show, right, guys? We're going for our first one of these. We need to get it. We need to get one of these in. 3 out of 4 weeks, we have had 1 of 2. I have no comment about the Vikings offense from last week. They absolutely just ruined it because Thielen would have scored a touchdown if they were in the red zone. I believe Jefferson caught like a 25-yarder for a touchdown for their only score in the first quarter. And, so we will get this, and then we promise we'll get to the rest of your questions after. But we are going to a 3-leg parlay this week since we got PSG in here. Oh my God, 15.44 is the line on this. All 3 of them, I think. Williams for me is plus 130, 160, I believe, for Hunt for you, Monotone.
180 on PointsBet, yeah.
Oh, okay, then go 180. This is probably higher than I plugged it in at 160.
No, yeah, that was for FanDuel. I gave you the FanDuel one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then PSG rolling with Jacoby Myers at plus 175, right?
Yep.
So, it could be higher. It could be higher depending on if you had the 20 points in 3 months. But, damn, guys, I love Mike Williams this week. This is literally the definition of a bounce-back week. He's on prime time, didn't get anything. And he should have scored a touchdown anyway. Herbert missed him, dude. He had an 80-yarder. That would have cashed me so much. So much. I had him to finish a I had his yards and anytime touchdown score to finish a parlay, and it would have been massive. And, we get misses him by 2 yards. So it's not like he wasn't open. It's just Keenan Allen was getting a lot of opportunities. He got up in the game, and Eckler just decided to steal the show, which, I mean, he's good enough to do that. But I see this game being a little bit more competitive with the Browns. And when the Browns play you, right, they try to run the ball, keep the ball away from you. I kind of think that this turns into a Herbert chuck it around because we're excited to have the ball, and then the other team just runs it for 8 minutes. So I'm hoping that we see Mike Williams get those red zone targets that he has been getting all year instead of those dump downs to Eckler, and we get my leg of this three-headed monster to finish here this week.
Yeah, and also remember, guys, we keep hitting 1 of 2. So if you want to play them as singles, they're all plus money. That's obviously safer than going all in right here. But yeah, I went Kareem Hunt. And this one caught my eye. I wrote this up for Dimers earlier in the week, and it really kind of caught me off guard that it was so high. Nick Chubb has really struggled at the goal line. Number one, he can get him down there, but once the whole world knows he's going to run it, he's kind of struggled a little bit. So what they've been doing is they bring in Kareem Hunt because that way, are they going to run it? Or are they going to throw it? Who knows? Kareem Hunt is so good at both of them. He has 3 touchdowns in the last 4 games. He should have 4 touchdowns. He dropped a wide open pass in the end zone last game with Baker. So like I said, I think he adds a lot of flexibility to their red zone packages, and plus 180 on PointsBet, plus 155 on FanDuel, wherever you get it. I like it a lot, and I think it's a good piece in this one.
And one stat you will not find anywhere is every time I bet on Nick Chubb and I put him in DFS, which I have already done, I have been vultured a touchdown by Kareem Hunt. So it's a guaranteed hit. Lock it in. Put your freaking house on this thing. Kareem Hunt vultures me anytime I have Nick Chubb in DFS. So he's in my lineups. He has scored a touchdown this week. In the last leg.
And so to close off this parlay, we're going to go plus 175 Jacoby Myers, a guy who hasn't found the end zone yet this year. But you look at his stats the last 2 weeks, 8 receptions last week against Tampa Bay, 9 against New Orleans, going for 70 and 94 yards. So, I mean, they're getting him the ball a lot more. The targets have been up there too, 12 last game, 14 against New Orleans, 6, 9. So, I mean, he's definitely Mac Jones' guy, and I don't see him going 5 weeks without scoring, and what better team to do it against than Houston?
I mean, it just makes so much sense, right? Like, this guy's so due for a touchdown. He's the clear number 1 on this team. He's going to get it eventually. The Texans might give up like 5 touchdowns in this game, you know? Like what we saw the Bills just keep throwing on him. Mac Jones could have a kind of showing this game too if he really wanted to. He could also hit this on the first drive, you know? Like, this guy's just due for it. He gets all the targets in the world. Like you mentioned earlier, all he has to do is really break 1 tackle. They get him a lot of screens, you know, and this Houston team can't tackle anybody. So I'm in. I love it.
Yeah, I'd rather ride with a guy who already has volume. He's got a sustainable floor where he's at. It's coming for one of those ceiling games pretty quick here, and I do not see why it shouldn't be against probably the worst team in football. Maybe the Lions are pushing it for that spot. Mm-hmm. And we have only 3 questions, just talking about the 450 touchdown there. So, yeah, great. We got one more right at the right time, Mr. Sam. Right at the right time. Tony Pollard over 39.5 rushing yards, over 9.5 rush attempts. Feels like it has standalone value with Elliott being questionable. You guys have any take on that with him playing against, I believe they're playing the Giants this week.
Let's see. Yeah, they're playing the Giants. So Zeke is crushing it. I feel like we got to acknowledge that a lot of people hate on Zeke. He's crushing it, but so is Pollard. They're getting Pollard involved. And he's actually been hitting this. Like, I think he's hit it 3 of his last 4 or something really good like that. I think the biggest problem is he's just been super efficient, and betting on efficiency over volume is always kind of hard. You know, if he doesn't break a 25-yarder, this is in danger. So I like it. I see the appeal, and I think a lot of smart people have talked about this one this week. So I understand why, but I'm personally a little like 50-50 on it.
PSG got anything on Mr. Pollard there? Or any take on it?
The Cowboys offense is starting to frustrate me. I've played CeeDee Lamb a couple times, but outside of that, I won't really touch many other people. And the running back situation is especially one that I don't want to get into.
Yeah, it's just safer to just stay away. There's like 18 guys on this team that could go off any given day. It's tough.
Yeah, they've been on my blacklist for a while now. I think after
Like I
week
said,
one.
guys, you don't have to bet on every single game. As much as a degenerate as I am, I even have my times when I pick the other stuff and I stay away. Because I'd rather keep the money than throw it on some crap and it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like 230 on FanDuel. Well done, gentlemen. Damn. Now I can't get it, so screw everybody who took it. I don't even get a chance to put it in, and I didn't even get over there yet. So, yeah, so it was a great show. We're actually at an hour. This is our normal time that we take. We went faster, I think. We went through it quick, went through everything there. And we will do a run through here. We will start with Mr. Monotone running through a recap of his plays here.
Yep. So we started out with 1 unit on Hunter Renfrow over 4.5 receptions. Love it. Hollywood Brown over 22.5 longest reception at -120. That is 1.5 unit play. And then finally 1.5 unit play. DJ Moore over 5.5 receptions at -150.
We'll ride over to Mr. PSG.
Yep. So Josh Allen over 33.5 rushing yards. Obviously, it's a big game players step up. I will probably be running this one for 1 unit.
1 unit, perfect.
And then Taylor Heinicke, my man, favorite quarterback. I need to get his jersey. Over 1.5 passing touchdowns, plus 105 or minus 105, whichever one you grab it at. This has 2 unit potential.
Yeah, especially plus money. I don't know if you know this, but Monotone's a Washington fan, so
Oh yeah,
I'm sure he loves that one.
Oh yeah, this is going on my card too for sure.
And I will be pushing goal potential, Mr. Nick Chubb on the betting market at 85.5, 1.5 units. CEH over 51.5. We did see that he is at 50.5 on another book that somebody mentioned in the chat. So if you guys want to go through that, it will be on there. And then this is my banger. This might be pushing max. I've been seeing a few people already pushing it on Twitter while we've been on here that they like this spot. But damn, guys, Jared Goff is going to get 40 completions this week. He's going 40 for 50. That's what's going to happen. They're going to lose by 45. It doesn't matter. He'll still throw the ball around. We're going to go with him for 2 units. And PSG, we can have you run through the last one. Our D-Gen parlay of the week.
The D-Gen parlay. Mike Williams, Kareem Hunt, and Jacoby Myers for about $15.44, depending on where you grab it.
This is the week. It's hidden for sure.
It might as well. I'd rather hit this one.
This is like a conservative touchdown parlay for me.
I know you. I seen your post. I see your post on there. It's like 3 scrolls of the mouse. I'm like, holy moly! Yep. You got to hit one of them, right?
I think week 1 came about 4 away off a 12-legger.
Oh,
whenever I think of your account, I still always think of that Zion Williamson play, man. I'm sorry to bring it up, but that's the closest. I mean, that was insane. I don't know if anyone remembers that from the NBA days, but
that was crazy.
I actually gave their personal trainer some shit about it. He's from this area.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in with us. Thanks, Trevor, for the kind words. It was really fun having our first guests on here, hoping we can get another huge week. We have 8 plays out there, 3 from me and Monotone, 2 from Mr. PSG and the D-Gen parlay. So we have 8 plays for you guys. On the year, the show is 21-8 overall. So we're looking to add on to that. Very excited to see how many units we can pick up. Any closing remarks from you two before we head on out for the day?
I just want to say this is my official face reveal.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're happy that you did it with us. Me and Mr. Monotone will be talking over the giveaway that I had on YouTube, and we will collaborate on that to figure out the name of the show, right? Because I think that we put out a thing to see for the giveaway there. So I promise we did not forget you, but we wanted to get through this in a reasonable time, and we'll get that out to you guys shortly. But thank you so much, PSG. We appreciate you popping on here. Maybe have you
thanks for having me on
towards the end of the year again too.
Absolutely.
Pop on here. Yeah. Thanks. Buck Dancers, always here. Legends. Thank you so much.
I'm out.
Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
We'll see you guys soon. See you next week.
Good luck.